Hey everyone, we are live. We are live. It is 11:30 where I'm at. Hope that you all are doing well. This is going to be a late night live where I am going to be talking through some of the crypto gains that I have experienced, as well as should we be looking at buying during this time. And so those are some things we're going to look at. We're going to look at some of the macro in terms of what is the Fed going to do this upcoming year, as well as what is liquidity looking like on the global scale, which liquidity drives investment into risk on assets. Risk on assets are assets such as cryptocurrencies and tech stocks and things of that nature. So we're going to get into quite a few things today. And so I hope that you all are doing well. We're going to go to keep the intro and then let's get to it. All righty.
Think. Act. And prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
All right, everyone, we are back. We are back. I hope you all are doing well. If you are tuning in, be sure to drop a comment. Love to acknowledge you, engage with you in this live. So that way I'm not just talking to myself. So love to hear from you and hear your thoughts as I present the things that I'm thinking about and the things that I am considering in terms of my investment decisions. And so none of this is financial advice. Obviously, you invest at your own risk, but I will show you what I have been doing. And so let's go ahead and jump into it. So first, I want to look at the Fed's dot plot. So that's the first thing we're going to jump over to, because it's important to know what the Fed is going to do, because when the Fed eases liquidity conditions, when they ease interest rates, they release the pressure that is on the economy. Many people have more capital to spend. So, for example, if interest rates go lower, then you're spending less interest on debt and things of that nature, right? And you're able to spend that capital elsewhere, and a lot of that capital goes into the markets, especially for corporations and big hedge funds and things of that nature, right? So let's go ahead and jump into what's up, Bryce, man? You up late, man. I see you, man. Buy more crypto. We just had this discussion. And Bryce was the beneficiary of a couple of cryptocurrency coins, which we will look at, and appreciate you for chiming in, bro. And then the cat, good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at the Fed's dot plot first, because this is going to be important. All right, so let me go ahead and pop over here. Boom. All right, so we're looking at this site called Bond Savvy. I just found this site, and I started reading it, and it was pretty informative. And so yep, a constitutional stacker, one of our stackers here, definitely is putting money into crypto as well. And I know that you're probably going to buy more gold and silver and stack more with the profits. And so that's one thing that I've been trying to tell people is hey, we can't get in this echo chamber. We have to see the opportunity to be able to cash out and even to store our wealth in more precious metals. And so yeah, if you can play off someone else's irrationality in their investments, if someone is willing to come buy a coin, when these coins get extremely high, off of me, and I got it for the low, of course I'm gonna sell it. And so yep. Appreciate you for chiming in. All right, so we're looking at the Fed's dot plot here. So if you look at this site here, says on December 13th, the U.S. Federal Reserve released the updated Fed dot plot, which showed a projected 2.5 point interest rate cut by the year end 2026. This can obviously change, but the consensus is that, okay, the Fed is going to drop rates by 2.5%, which that would put us at anywhere between 2.5% and 3%, I believe. This will reduce the Fed's fund target from 5.25% to 5.5 to 2.75 to 3. And so what is the dot plot? They explained it here. The 19 FOMC, which is the Fed meeting that happens every other month or so. Participants include 7 members of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors and presidents of the 12 Federal Reserve banks. In a dot plot, each dot represents a participant's judgment of the midpoint for the Fed funds rate. Note that each FOMC meeting, only 12 of the 19 participants have a vote on setting the Fed funds target rate. So, and then we're going to get into the dot plot here, as they say. Currently, they left the rates unchanged. And as we move forward into 2024, the belly of the dot plot is a 4.5 to 4.75, which will imply a 0.75 percentage point cut between December 2023 and December 2024. So now, one thing to keep in mind, it's like sometimes the Fed doesn't cut rates. A lot of times the Fed doesn't cut rates until there's some type of stress within the system, or some type of crash or things of that nature. So you have to keep that in mind. So like we're only looking at probabilities, right? One issue that I've had in the last year is oftentimes I get too bearish on assets. And I've missed out on some opportunities being too bearish, because I'm like, okay, this should go lower, and it doesn't go lower, And so, for example, I talk about when I was buying Facebook stock, Meta was at about 90 bucks. I started buying Netflix as well. Netflix was extremely sold off. And I was like, okay, I think the market's going to go lower. We need a bigger crash. I think it's going to go lower. I was too bearish, right? Same thing with NVIDIA. Now Meta's back up to over $300. Netflix is up to $300-$400 or wherever they're at. And then NVIDIA is up to like $400. So it's you got to be careful be getting too bearish. And so we have to look at all the probabilities of what can happen here. So, and you don't want to be too bearish or too bullish. So, Bryce chimed in and said, I want a 2.5 total interest rate again. Yes, it would be nice if we can get lower interest rates like that. I do think that if we have low interest rates of that nature again, housing prices will probably continue to inch up more. So it'll kind of be interesting. Constitutional Stagger said, I play the micro and the mid cap coins for the gains, hold the big ones for preservation of purchasing power. Yes, like I'm mostly just bullish Bitcoin. That's all. That's the most the one that I hold long term. The rest of them I'm looking to just cash out and get my money and go, right? And so it said Bryce said, just remember, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Ain't a bear. Being a bear ain't too bad. Yep. It's being a bear isn't too bad, but you can obviously miss out on some major gains, when you're too bearish. And so that's why I'm trying to be a little more balanced in my approach. So as we can see, they're projecting a 0.75 basis point cut this year coming up. This something could happen. Some type of crisis could happen. They could cut even more, right? But this is just what they're projecting so far. So right now, 75 basis points for 2023 leading into 2024. And then they are projecting that there's going to be a 100 point basis point cut, and then the 775 basis point cut. And if all of these come to fruition, then pretty much that would put us at a Fed funds rate of, somewhere around 2.25% and 3%. So, and if that happens, obviously people have more liquidity to be able to spend on investing and speculation. So that's one thing to consider. So now we're going to pop over to X or Twitter, and I want to show a couple of tweets from a couple of these guys that I follow, and they talk about global liquidity, right? So liquidity is very important. So when you're talking about risk on investments, you have to have the liquidity for that to really be prominent or really to take off. So, for example, 2020 pandemic happened. Uh, the countries around the world flooded the world with liquidity. M2 money supply, reached all-time highs. All these things, right? So liquidity was flowing, and so then you begin to see these price pumps of these assets, houses, everything continue to skyrocket. And so what they're looking at is on a global scale. Liquidity is increasing. So, for example, Julian Battelle, he says markets are forward looking, and this year's risk on environment has been all about easing financial conditions. If your investment process involves current ISM numbers, you're always going to be late to the party. And he talks about so I think he's talking about crypto right there. As you can see, this is the ISM index, and it talks about it's pretty much explaining the global financial conditions are increasing. And so if you're following the ISM, you're going to be lagging behind the GMI. So the GMI is increasing while the ISM is down here. And he's talking about how GMI shoots up first before the ISM. So you're going to be late to the party. So that's one thing to consider. This is another account I follow called Cross Border Capped, and they study liquidity, global liquidity. And so obviously when you're looking at crypto markets, I mean, you have people all around the globe that invest in these assets and pump the prices higher. So here we go. So this is their liquidity stress index. You can see here, you see the UK gilt crisis that was with their pensions and things of that nature. The liquidity stress index increased significantly. And then you have the year-end effect. Then you have the Silicon Valley and Credit Suisse banking crisis. Then you have the U.S. debt ceiling. And so you can see these spikes in the liquidity stress index continue to increase when we have these events. But when you're looking at the 50-day moving average, it's been trending lower. And so right now we're not having many events that are causing liquidity stress within the market. So liquidity is looking like it's on the rebound, and that means that more capital could be flowing into a lot of these assets. And so that's one thing that we're pretty much looking at today. So now I want to jump over to some of these my guy Bryce said, bro, inflation is giving me liquidity stress. Yes, it is. They're saying the numbers coming down. I mean, I don't believe the government's numbers, but I mean, obviously that's the thing that they're using. I mean, we can say that gas prices have decreased, and so energy prices have come down. I expect it to shoot higher at some point. And so right now I'm buying some of the weakness in the energy stocks. But yeah, I mean, inflation is real. And so appreciate my guy Avery. He's coming on the channel next month as well. Avery does some investing and stuff, so we're gonna pick his brain on some of his investment theses and what's his key to success for investing. So appreciate you, Avery, for chiming in. I believe the numbers are coming down when I can get out of Costco under $200. Hey, that'll be the dream, right? That'll be the dream. But you know, the thing is with inflation, I mean, as the dollar devalues, I mean, like prices, I mean, gas prices aren't going to go back to $2 a gallon. I mean, in Washington State, I just don't think they're going to go back that low. And so, I mean, that's the reason why we don't see 99 cents a gallon back in the early 2000s, right? You know, it's because like the dollars continue to be devalued, and eventually our wages will have to catch up with inflation as time passes on. But yeah, I don't think prices of a lot of things are going to continue to go a lot lower, or our bills won't be cheap as they once were. So, but we'll see. That's just kind of my take. All right, so we're gonna pop over to some of the crypto coins that I've been investing in. And so let's go ahead and jump over here to coin market cap. Boom. All right. So you have the fear and greed index right now. Greed is kind of up. It's not extreme, but who knows? We'll see what happens if we have a pullback or whatnot. I'm sure we're going to have a pullback at some point. Solana has been taken off. Solana, I mean, pretty much. Let me go to the candlesticks. So here we go. Let's look at the 7-day. So I mean, Solana has been taken off. I mean, it pretty much shot up to its highs, around, what was it, over $100 at some point. And this was, let me see, where am I at? That's over the last 7 days. I'm looking at it. All right, yeah. So the Solana's highs here, over $200. I was buying Solana back in, it was like $30, and I sold quite a bit when it shot up this high. But it came all the way down to $12. I mean, back December a year ago, it hit $12, and now it's back up to $113. So this company continues to make improvements to their blockchain. There's other crypto coins that are launched on their chain and everything. So like Solana is definitely booming right now. So that's one coin I have not touched. I mean, I was looking at it, and this was me being too bearish. It was at $20 the last time I was looking at it, and $30, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I think it could go lower to 12, around $12 again. So I'm not gonna buy it right now. And then sure enough, it shoots up to $113. But I did capitalize on some other ones, and so we're going to be looking at that. Bryce talks about AVAX. Me and Bryce was talking about AVAX, so we're going to pull up Avalanche. All right, here we go. I've told you all about Avalanche a couple of episodes ago. Avalanche, I mean, their high was over $140 in the last cycle. And I mean, they got as low as, $8 here. I mean, yeah, they got as low as $10, about $8, $9 here. That's where I started buying them at. And then now they're at 47. So, I mean, you already tripled your money pretty quick, more than tripled your money. I mean, in the last year, they're up 300%. 300%, so I mean, if you sit on the sidelines, then you're not going to make money. You have to be able to put some capital in and to be able to make money. And so I was able to do that. I didn't invest as much as I wanted to, but I'm still happy with the profits. So I took some profits off the table, and I also kept some shares as well. So AVAX, I mean, it's obviously far off the highs. I mean, the highs was 140, 146 or so, 147. I think that this could probably go a lot higher. This is one of the premier cryptos. Let's see where they rank on the top list on Coin Market Cap. Avalanche is number 9. So this could probably go a lot higher than where it is. And so that's one reason why I like them. And obviously I'm going to be probably investing a little more when we see a little more of a pullback. It just kind of depends on where it pulls back to. Yes, Solana is killing it. Another coin that I've been buying is called Decentralized Social, which this is something that I believe in. I believe that social media should be decentralized. I think people should be able to take their profiles wherever they desire. And yeah, that's my take on it. So obviously here, you see that Decentralized Social, I mean, they spiked at one point. I don't even know if people were able to sell and get their cash out of this when it spiked that high. But it was at $186, at one point. And in the last year, I mean, I was buying down here at $8, $8, and it spiked up. I mean, now it's at 37, but it did hit 40, 44, close to 44 bucks earlier. So this coin can run. They only have a max supply of 10 million coins, almost 11 million coins, which means that they have a smaller cap, which can these can see some massive gains. And so I mean the market cap is 300 million right now. So yeah, so they were able to spike quite a bit. A coin that I'm looking at, that I'm actually buying now is which I haven't looked a whole lot into this, but I did want to invest in one of the gaming coins because gaming was huge. And I've watched Wendy O, Crypto Wendy O. She's been talking about Gala quite a bit. I should have bought it a while ago when she mentioned it, but I still got in early. I mean, as you can see, Gala's at 3 cents. It's not available on Coinbase. I bought it through crypto.com, but as you can see, Gala is trading at, it's trading at 1 cent. Now it's at 3 cents. But I mean, if you go back to the previous bull market, I mean, Gala shot up to 73 cents, and it didn't close. It actually closed. It actually shot up higher than that. It shot up to 84 cents. So I mean, it went from 3 cents to 81 cents, and I mean the market cap 835 million. That's 28 billion. So it isn't too bad of max supply, but I mean this coin can rip, and I think that you could see some huge gains. I mean, it's already, I see in a year, over the years, up 64%, 65%. But as the bull market kicks off, I'm thinking that this coin could bring some massive gains. So this is one coin that I've been buying as a speculation off the whole gaming metaverse and just the improvements that the whole crypto market has made during this the bear market. And that's one thing to note. Like, yep, Wendy's dope, man. I gotta actually bring her back on at some point. We're supposed to do an interview last year, and then I blew it, and then so I gotta send her a DM, see if she can come on at some point. But yeah, so like she's Gala is a coin that she really likes, and she mentioned a couple other ones, but this is one that I'm like, okay, it's really cheap. I mean, you could buy massive massive amounts of shares, and if this goes up to like, even if it doesn't hit the all-time high, say it goes up to 50 cents, 60 cents or something like that, like you can make some massive amounts of money. I mean, you're multiplying, and so I think that I can speculate quite a bit with this one. So this is one that I'm really looking at. And just so everybody know, I am not a crypto expert at all. I am not a crypto expert, but I do speculate, and I will buy some of these coins and get some massive gains off of them. So it's enough for everybody to go around. It's enough for everybody. So this is another coin that I've been investing in. I've obviously been invested in Polkadot for a while. I have been investing in Polkadot for a while. I mean, right now in the last year, I mean, I'm up 92%. I was buying them down here at $3-4, and now they're at close to $9. Obviously, I mean, the high, for Polkadot was, $53. And so, I mean, still have some ways to move up. And they have about a $10 billion market cap. They are number 11 ranked out of all the other cryptocurrencies. And they have about 1.3 billion total supply. So Polkadot still has a lot of room to go. And so we're still early in this market. I mean, people can still just don't let the prices now, scare you off. Like, we're still pretty early. But if you have the dollar cost average mindset, it'll really help you during this time, because then you're not trying to time tops and bottoms. You're like, okay, and then you're also not missing out on opportunities, by being too bearish or bullish. So that's very important. And then one of the other coins that I mostly own is Cosmos Atom. And right now, these are coins that are just staked, and they're just earning interest at the current moment. I mean, the market cap, 4.3 billion, they're number 20. And then their circulating supply is 380 million. So this coin could run. The last time they ran, they hit about $44, and they didn't get as low as Polkadot. I mean, they did hit $5 back in $6 around this time, which I did buy some then as well. And so now they're trading at $11. But they've been kind of trading in this range for a while. They haven't necessarily broke out. But this is a coin ultimately that I think that will break out and perform well. So those are some ones that I'm looking at. Obviously Cardano, that's one. Let's look at Cardano. I was buying them. They were at 30 cents for a while. Over the past year, they were at 30 cents for a while. I mean, they were, trading in this range when I was accumulating, and then they hit 23 cents. I was buying more, and then now they popped up to close to 67 cents, and then now they're at 61 cents. So they've doubled in the past year, and yeah. But I mostly stake them, so I'm earning Cardano while they are being staked. So that's kind of how I'm playing those three coins: Polkadot, Cosmos, and Cardano. So we're going to jump over to the halving countdown, Bitcoin's halving cycle. It's 112 days left before the next halving cycle. And we know that usually following a halving cycle, we have a bull run. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. This was an interesting article that I'm going to jump into as we wrap up. But this article here, let's see. In your opinion, what are the worst coins to buy? Okay, the worst coins to buy. Okay, let's see. All right, so Bryce and we had a conversation about Shiba Inu. I do have some money there. I do have not a whole lot. This is a meme coin, right? I do think that it could run. I think there's potential in the future for it. However, this is a meme coin. And the reason why, they're number 16, they're 6.4 billion market cap. But the issue that I have with coins like Shiba Inu is their total supply. So they have 589 trillion coins out there. So that's the reason why this price is so low, because there's so many coins out there. And so for let's say for this coin to double, the market cap will have to pop, to close to 13 billion. And this coin would be at 4 zeros and 0.22, right, for it to double. And so, that's why I don't have a high conviction on them really spiking to hit dollars, a dollar. Obviously I'd be happy if it hits $1. You can earn quite a bit, but it takes a lot of capital running into this coin to make it run up so high. So the circulating supply is something that I look at. Same thing with, we could look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin, it's ran. It was at 6 cents, 5 cents. Now it's at 9 cents. 13.3 billion. Number 10. They have 142 billion Doge. So they have less Doge than Shiba Inu, which is why Doge is actually, at 10 cents, right? So when I'm looking at coins, to invest in. I'm looking at the circulating supply. I'm looking at the market cap, the price of it. So those are some things, obviously, and then other things I don't really mess around. I don't mess around with a lot of the meme coins because you do get a lot of the rug pulls. You get a lot of the the scams and the scandals and all those things, right? And so my guy Neophyte burning the midnight oil. Yes, yes, indeed. So yeah, you get a lot of the scandals and these scams, coins and things of that nature. So like, I tread very lightly with some of the worst coins. So when I'm looking at obviously Dogecoin, I don't think that's necessarily a scam coin, but you did have a lot of pumping from Elon Musk, who, obviously had a lot of um, clout, followers, all those things, right? I mean, he owns Tesla, SpaceX, he owns X, formerly known as Twitter. So he had a lot of clout, and he was pushing, Dogecoin. So a lot of people ran into it, a lot of FOMO and everything. So I don't necessarily think Doge is like a scam coin, but I don't have a high conviction on it long term. And some of these other coins, I don't necessarily have a high conviction on long term. Like I may keep them long term, like some of them, but that's only if I'm playing with house money. So for example, decentralized social. I think social media should be decentralized. I don't think people should be having their accounts hacked or not hacked, but shut down because of free speech and things of that nature. Like, I think that they should be able to take their profile wherever. And then you have, coins like AVAX. I mean, Cardano. I mean, Filecoin. I talked to my friend Bryce about Filecoin. They invest. They are focused on decentralized storage because you do have to have I think it's a TFP type file for the internet, the Web3 or whatnot. And so decentralized storage. I mean, right now, iCloud, you have Apple, Microsoft and Google. They're pretty much have monopoly on a lot of the cloud space. And so decentralized storage is very important. So I'm bullish on that long term. So yeah, so it just kind of just depends, on how you look at the coins, but certain things that have actual utility, I am interested in, holding a little bit longer, or whatnot. But the coins that don't necessarily have utility, like I don't think Dogecoin has utility. I don't think Shiba Inu has utility. Those are pure speculation. So that's kind of how I judge how I invest in the coin. I don't necessarily just throw blindly. I do watch, pretty people that are pretty well known in the space and kind of just get their opinions on it. And so those are some ways that I look at it. Let's see. Constitutional Stacker said, "I have a little Shiba and a little Doge, not much." Yeah, it's like I'm not going all in on them. Like I would rather go all in on like an Ethereum or something like that that has utility. And so yeah, you don't have a lot of hope on them either. And so let's see, Mana. My guy Michael came on. He said Mana. Let's go ahead and look at Mana. I've heard of this coin before, but I have not looked into it much. Decentraland. Let's see. So Decentraland, I mean, they hit what, 30 cents, 26 cents back in October. They're at 52 cents. I think I've heard of this coin multiple times. I mean, they were at what, $5, $5. Let's see, their circulating supply. They have almost 2 billion in circulation, which isn't bad compared to like Doge. I mean, this is even lesser than Cardano. Than Cardano has circulating. So this coin can run. I mean, and market cap, the market cap's still pretty low compared to other coins. So yeah, this may be one I may have to pick up. So I'm just picking up my my speculative coins. So I'm gonna have to put a bookmark next to this one and just learn more about it. But appreciate you. bringing it up, bro. So he said, so Constitutional said, I consider Bit and ETH a blue chip crypto, honestly. Yeah, like those are the OGs, and there's some other ones, some really good ones coming up, like Solana and some other ones. But yeah, I definitely think Bitcoin and ETH are definitely ones to hold long term. How are you guys getting past the capital gains tax on crypto when you sell? Uh, I'm not gonna incriminate myself on here, sir. But I try not to. I mean, honestly, I don't mind paying the capital gains tax. Um, but I do know that there's some kind of loopholes that the IRS hasn't necessarily shored up, and I experienced that last year. So like when you send crypto to your hardware wallet and you send it back, it's hard to track like, okay, what price you got it at. And then you see like, okay, well, you send the coins back and the price of the coin at the time you sent it back is at this price. But then it's like, you can't really track like, okay, did someone send it to you as a gift? Like, because you can put like even in the IRS, they have the option of putting it as a gift. Like, okay, someone else sent me this coin as a gift, and it's like hard for them to track like you sending it from Coinbase to your hardware wallet, and then when you send it back to Coinbase, I mean, you could have gotten that from some other crypto wallet, and so it's kind of hard to track, those things, and so. I think that some people are probably bypassing capital gains using that, and probably some other methods too. Um, so yeah, that's kind of just something that I've observed. I'm not saying that I participated in that, but I've observed that in the in that. And so Neophyte said, I still don't understand how Bitcoin is made. LOL, it's terrible. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of so Bitcoin is obviously mined by these supercomputers. I had a miner last year, which I played it wrong, y'all. I messed up really bad. Um, I had bought a Bitcoin miner in December of last year when the market was already going into a downturn. I did not play it right, and I bought a secondhand miner for like $6,000. And the amount of Bitcoin I mined was probably about $2,000 worth or something like that. Like, so I didn't make my money back on that. And then once crypto market took a really deep dive downward, you could get brand new miners for $2,000. And so it was just like, man, I played my cards wrong on that one. So that was like a big loss that I took. Well, I mean, it's a big loss to me. I'm like, yeah, like I wish I would have had that 4,000. I could have used that $4,000 now, or bought like, I could have bought 3 brand new miners, and been mining more Bitcoin, if I would have just been patient. And so yeah, but these miners pretty much they have to figure out these crazy like math equations, and they have to solve these equations, and they work together to solve the equations to unlock the blocks of the transactions that are going on the blockchain, because the blocks are secured and everything. And so you have to have all these miners all across the world in different pools working together to crack the code to unlock the block so that the transaction can move to the next phase or whatnot. And then those miners in turn receive Bitcoin as a reward for unlocking those blocks. And so that's probably the simplest way I could put it. Bryce said, "Who wants to gift me a whole Bitcoin?" Hey, I'm down to be gifted a whole Bitcoin as well. If anybody out there, that maybe got in 2009 when Bitcoin was pennies on the dollar or less than a penny, I'll send you my wallet address. You can email me at themoneylevelshow@gmail.com. Right. Appreciate y'all for supporting the channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and so Constitutional chimed in. Neo, think of Bitcoin as a math problem the computer solves to unlock a new coin. Yep. So Yep. So the blocks on the blockchain network, these are like it's information and data that's in this secure block. And so you have to unlock that secure block for that information or data to get moved to the next. So like if I send you money, it goes on the blockchain, right? And as a transaction, and the miners have to unlock the blocks. And so that's pretty much how it works. All right, so we're going to jump over to this article. This was pretty interesting, and this is from CoinDesk. It says, it's obviously an opinion. Is it really only up for Bitcoin? The article starts, it's that time again when your friends and family members know you're into Bitcoin, text asking if it's now the time to buy, a time that signifies we're at another peak in Bitcoin's price. But the truth is, if you're thinking about buying Bitcoin right now, it might not be the best time to make a sizable purchase. So keyword sizable purchase. So when your dollar cost averaging, if you're doing $20 here, $50 here, $100 there, that's not considered a sizable purchase unless you're just very poor, right? But if you're talking about throwing thousands in or whatnot, like it may not be the best time to make a sizable purchase, despite the fact that we might see spot Bitcoin ETFs approved in the near future, which we've already talked about. BlackRock, Fidelity, and many other VanEck, I think, and many other companies are trying to get this spot ETF approved. And so let's start by looking at the price action during periods leading up to the last two Bitcoin halvings. So these are trends from the last Bitcoin halving cycles. They last about 4 years, 210 blocks produced, 210,000 blocks produced at approximately 10 minutes per block. At the commencement of each cycle, the block's subsidy reward minus receive its cut in half. So the reward is cut in half as the halving cycle continues to happen, which triggers a Bitcoin supply shock. So Bitcoin reduces the amount of coins that can be mined. Every time it has a halving, it gets cut in half. And so then miners, it takes these more stronger super miners to be able to even get a fair size of Bitcoin. So, yeah, I mean, you went from being able to mine on a HP computer to now you have to have these thousands of dollars, $1,000 miners. So historically, Bitcoin's price has risen dramatically during the year and a half that follows the halving. The price then tanks and trades in a range for the cycle's other 2.5 years. From late 2013 until mid 2016, when the second halving occurred, Bitcoin's price fell from $1,166 to $156. Then it rebounded to $780, 67% of the previous all-time high, before falling 40% in to $472 in August 2016. So they're saying from the last halving, pretty much Bitcoin's price reduced significantly, then it rebounded. So the 472 price point marked a local bottom just 1 month after the halving took place. So this was in 2016, 472. So you saw you had a price pump to 7. So this was the previous high from the last halving, right? Leading up to 2014. And then that's when it plummeted. You went to the bear market, $156. Then Bitcoin spiked up to 780. And then it fell down to 472 before, right, like a month into the halving. And then it just started to go up significantly. And then we know from this particular cycle, Bitcoin touched 20,000. So it went from 472 at the during the early phases of the halving to about $20,000. Then you see from late 2017 to late 2018, Bitcoin's price fell from $19,666 to $3,150 before rebounding to $13,882 over over yeah, 70% of the previous all-time high. So let's see. Appreciate your constitutional. Happy Merry Christmas to you as well. So I put 900 in the bit over the last 7 days. Hey, ultimately it's going to go higher, but we may be due for a pullback at some point. It's getting kind of frothy in here in this market, so I'm kind of buying. I'm buying some cheap ones. I mean, I'm gonna reveal one of my friend Bryce's coins. So I just started buying into them as well. But Bryce, you got to let me know what price you bought Ethereum Classic at, and what price did you sell it at. So we're gonna look at the charts. And then Bryce said, "Don't show me a time when Bitcoin was $150. It's just memories of missing out." Yeah, man, it's heart wrenching. I wish I never sold Bit back in the day, man. What price did you sell it at? You gotta reveal the price that you sold it at. What price did you sell it at? I was part of this Facebook group where this guy, he cashed out his Bitcoin to buy a something, and like some little car he bought for his girlfriend or something like that. It was like a few $1,000s, but he cashed out like 21 Bitcoin, and then he posted it into this chat. He was super regretful of of doing that, and so yeah. He said about 30. I made some good profits and dumped it like a fool. Oh man, you had Bitcoin at $30. You had it at $30. Wow. Hey, but you live and you learn. I hate to give some cliche investment investment thing that hurts. But yeah. Oh no. Oh, okay. No, you sold it at 30K per Bitcoin. Okay, what price did you buy it at? I mean, if you had it at $30, I was just gonna say, okay, you just had a partial. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, for me, like I had thrown Bitcoin's at like 7,000. I put like $1 in my Cash App Bitcoin. I'll just put $1 in. That dollar went to like $8. And I was just like, what was I should have put more in there. What the heck was I thinking? So yeah. So you bought it at 20K. Gotcha. That makes sense. I was around during the last bull market. Not the last one, but the one before, and I didn't know what I was into, and so I don't really shame myself or get down on myself about it, but I wish I would have like dove in and like, okay, what is this stuff? Because I was Bitcoin was at 20,000. It dropped to 3,800. I remember looking at Bitcoin after the pandemic hit when it dropped to 3,800, and I did pull the trigger then. Like I think Ethereum was trading at $150. I pulled the trigger on that. Yeah, I remember that. And so yeah, so that's something that I wish I would have did my due diligence on what I was buying. Then I would have had more conviction on it longer term. But then again, I could have sold it. Like Ethereum would have went from $150 to 2,000. I would have probably got out of it, to be honest. Let's see. So from late 2017, the price, went to close to 20,000. Then it dropped to 3,150. So as you can see, this was after the last halving cycle, the bull run after the halving cycle. And then it dropped to 3,150, and then it rebounded to 13, almost $14,000. And then you had the pandemic crash where it crashed down to close to $4,000 before taking off. And so what they're saying is that Bitcoin has these pumps before the halving, and then you get a sell-off into the halving. And so because this sell-off happened around the same time as the halving, and then you can see here the pump into the halving, sell-off, and then it starts to run. So they're saying like, hey, if you're going to make a sizable purchase, there's probably going to be a pullback based off the last two halving cycles, and so there may be more opportunity then. So if you have capital that you're saving up, for like, okay, well, say Bitcoin drops to 35,000, or 30,000, where you can throw in a more sizable purchase, then that's the way that you can play this. Same thing with any of the other coins as well. Another 2.5 period that precedes Bitcoin halving is coming to an end. This period began in late 2021 and will end April 2024 when the fourth halving is scheduled to occur. During this period thus far, Bitcoin's price has fallen from $69,000 to 15,522 before rebounding to 44,759, 65% of the previous all-time high. So I was buying Bitcoin here, and then it popped up to about 25,000, and I said, "Oh, yep, I'm selling. I'm selling some of it." I had about at this point, I think I had a quarter of a Bitcoin, and I sold quite a bit when it popped to 25. Um, I'm kicking myself for that, yo. I gotta let my skeletons out the closet too, right? I was buying Bitcoin this low. I had about a quarter of a Bitcoin. I sold majority of it when it popped to 25,000, and it did not come back down. I was too bearish, and I was thinking like, okay, the price gonna go lower, probably 10,000 or so, and I should have just been like, hey, I got it at a good price. Let me just keep it. And so yeah, that was one of my sins there. And so so yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up this article, then we're gonna jump into Ethereum Classic. So as we can see, we had the sell off, and then you had the pump again before the halving. The halving is scheduled to take place in March, April. So we could see another sell off, back to 35,000, 30,000, 25,000. I don't have levels on this. But you could see a sell off there, and that could be a place where you can put a sizable amount of money into Bitcoin. It says this 65% rebound, the current one is awfully close to the 67 and 70% rebounds we saw in the previous two cycles. And then the big question now is, will Bitcoin's price retrace significantly leading up to the next halving as it has leading up to the two previous halvings, right? I mean, when you have someone like Felix Zulauf saying that we're going to have a recession or we're going to have a bear market, you have, the Fed getting ready to cut rates, all those things, right? So it's definitely in the cards, like where we could see a significant retrace. If Bitcoin's price were to fall 40% from these current levels, as it did in 2015 to 2016, we see Bitcoin's price at 26,855. If it were to fall 72%, as in the 2019 to 2020, we would see Bitcoin's price at 12,532. So I've seen very few people mention such numbers in the wake of the euphoria Bitcoin investors are currently experiencing. So will this time be different? Maybe, right? Will this time be different? Maybe. So that's it. You heard it. There's still opportunity that may lie ahead. So if you are able to accumulate some capital to be able to throw in, if we are to see like a retracement in Bitcoin prices and some of these other coins before the next run up after the halving, then you may want to consider investing in it. All right, so we're going to jump over to Ethereum Classic. My guy Bryce said he bought Ethereum Classic at $5.56. We was talking about this, you all. Like, I didn't even know my friend Bryce was into crypto, and we started talking about it. He was like, "Man, I bought Ethereum Classic at $5," and this was in the last cycle. I mean, he bought it, I don't know if you bought it around here, 2020 or somewhere over here, but Ethereum Classic spiked up to $128, maybe even a little higher if we look at the candles. It just closed at 128, but spiked at $177 around there. So now it's trading back down. So I mean, this could be another runner. I mean, the last cycle it had 74 cents, spiked up to $48 almost before coming down. So, and then this one spiked up to 180. So this may be one that can run, you all. It may be one that can run. Bryce definitely benefited from it. I think you told me you sold at like 50 something bucks, $60 or so. But it did end up going to 140. I mean, you made a massive gain, but obviously if you held longer, you would have gotten a lot more gains on that. Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm not even sharing the right screen. Here we go. Ethereum Classic. It's at $21 right now. Bryce said he was buying, somewhere around here. This one spiked up to 100, close to 180 bucks. So, yeah. I think there's some opportunity there. Let's see. Constitutional stacker. I have thousands of ounces of silver, so my base is covered. I'm making some big moves in crypto, high risk. If I lose it all, I'm still in good shape. Yeah, as long as you can sell, obviously sell your precious metals. Precious metals is insurance for your wealth. It is a savings. So it comes through. When I started college and everything, and I started selling some of my fancy artwork coins and things like that. I was like, yeah, I need to get rid of some of this stuff. I started selling a lot of it because I needed the liquidity, and that came in handy. But now I'm more rebuilding with more liquid coins and bars. And so, and what I mean by more liquid is I'm not buying the Donald Duck or the Scrooge McDuck coins anymore with the high premiums because when I went to resell a lot of those coins like that, Spider-Man coins and such, like I took a loss on them. So I'm not buying that stuff anymore. I'm mostly buying bullion, constitutional, pre-64 coins and things like that are highly liquid and there's always a market for. So as long as you got the the right kind of silver, you're in good shape. I mean, if you thousands of ounces of silver, those are American Silver Eagles, you definitely in good shape because those are always a market for that. Those always will go, yeah. Not selling metal to do it either, just buying less metal and using that money to do it. Constitutional. Bryce said he had a little over 400 at that point. You talking about 400 Ethereum Classics, or are you talking about $400? And for those who want to know what constitutional silver stacker does, I manage a restaurant, have a side hustle, and have been investing in buying metals for years. I have a few bucks to play with. Hey, hook me up with the side hustle. I'm trying to find multiple side hustles, trying to get this channel going as a side hustle. I mean, it's going, but I made a little bit of money from it so far. I think I made like $1,000, over $1,000 in the last year, which is cool. Money I didn't have, but I'm looking forward to seeing more growth in that. Yeah. But you also, let's see, Bryce bought Ethereum Classic in November 2020. And I mean, you were able to oh yeah, so you have 400 Ethereum Classic. Yeah, 400 Ethereum Classic. Man, let's see. Let's do the math real quick. let's just say hypothetically, right? No one sells at the top. Like people don't. You got to be lucky to get it at the top, right? Usually sell on the way up to the top, and then you may see the top, and you're like, okay, let me sell a few. It may go higher, and then when you see it dips, you're like, okay, I may sell some more and such. And so like, but let's say you had $400 times 100 and let's see, what did it hit? Spiked up to 100, close to $180. I'm just gonna do the math real quick. 180. Man, let's say it's hypothetically, if you would have like held it all, sold it at the top, and you were just perfect with the trade, right? Which is highly unlikely. That would have been $72,000. $72,000. Um, yeah. Yeah, man. That's that would have been some massive gains. I had the same issue with um what was it? Dogecoin. I was in Dogecoin at when it was like a fifth, 1/5 of a penny. And I didn't know what it was and stuff, and I sold most of it. But like when it spiked up to 70 something cents, that was like 30 grand that I had in there. And I was like, man, why the heck did I did I sell it? I put like $100 in. $100 would have turned to 30 grand. It was just crazy, right? Constitutional Silver Stacker said, um, ASCs, American Silver Eagles, Buffaloes, 90% generics, good to go. 90% of my stack is 90% in generic. I only have 120 ASCs. Okay. I thought it said 120 asses at first, but 120 ASCs. But yeah, so you're pretty liquid, man. You're pretty liquid. Like you can get rid of that if you needed to. And obviously it's good that you don't need to, but like having that type of those types of silver coins are always a market for. People are always looking to buy. It isn't based off someone's interest. Like you aren't getting devalued when you go to a coin store. You know, coin store will give you the amount for some of the premium plus the silver content itself. So yeah, that's really really good. Let's see, and we got. I've been monetized since April. I'm at 1,050. I like to make it grow. Rumble monetizes from the rip, but it's slow going, man. Yeah, man. Let's link up, man. Send me an email or something at themoneylevelshow@gmail.com. Love to have you on the show or something, or figure out, just kind of pick your brain on what's working for you and such. And so Bryce is getting rich, y'all. Neophyte said Bryce rich too. Bryce said, don't do that to me. I don't know if he was talking to me, like doing the math, or if he's talking about neophytes, calling him rich. Bryce, super humble dude. He's been around the world, done a lot of work in impoverished nations in Africa and such. And so, yeah, he's always had the heart for the people. So I always appreciate him. He said it did look like asses. Yep, it did. It did. Yes, sir. Liquid is my goal, but I do traverse my metal. It's easier for me mentally to dump a stock. Yep. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's just being liquid, man. Being liquid is very important. I got too caught up into those fancy artwork coins, and it was not good. I took some losses on some of them, so it's always good to be liquid. That doom and gloom get people buying. Yep. And so yep, the math making them sad. We're just gonna go one more spot before we close out tonight. I gotta go wrap some gifts. I'm gonna look at one of the most hated guys that I follow on Twitter. His name is all right, cool, constitutional. Yeah, I'll definitely respond. We'll figure something out. His name is uh, Il Capo of Crypto. Um, he's a he does technical charts and stuff, and he's been bearish for a while. And people get on him. They are like, I mean, he has almost 800,000 followers, but yeah, people are on him like saying like, man, you could have made all this money, you could have been blah 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 blah, and they just very critical. He says so he's still bearish that Bitcoin and everything will see another dump before the pump after the halving. And so um, yeah, based off his projections, like he's been staying next to this conviction for quite a while, like over a year. And so to provide context that supports my current perspective about the market, I will present several arguments for why I believe we might still see new lows over the coming months. Let's look at the thread. Let's start with Bitcoin on HTF. We've seen a bullish trend during 2023. Many think that this is the start of a new bull market, but in my opinion, this is a corrective move. Now the price is at major resistance zone. Confirmations are on the chart. All right. So he says that this is the major resistance zone. First bearish confirmation, a break of 40,000. So if it breaks below 40,000, that'll be the first bearish confirmation. Second confirmation is a break of 30 to 31,000, and then a third break of 25K. And this could be main target for a bearish market bottom of $12,000, which is very similar to that article that we just read. So there's still some bears out there, you all, and so I wouldn't get get excited about the profits, take some profits off the table. That's what I'm doing. But I'm also like just being very cautious of like having some liquidity, not buying things that are at extreme valuations. Like I'm not buying Solana at $100. Like I'm not doing that. But some of the other coins that haven't ran as much, like Ethereum Classic or some of the other ones that I'm into, Polkadot, Cosmos, like those haven't ran as much. I mean, even Litecoin is at $70. I think its low was like 50 something dollars. Still well off the highs, but it's still hasn't pumped significantly. And so like I'm not really going all in on some of these coins that have ran. I'm taking profits and being a little cautious. And so let's see. Bryce said, I don't need my Bitcoin wrapped, bro. Thanks for making it nice for me. I really dig about you. You both understand metals and crypto and value both. So many missed the boat. Yeah, it's these are like I'm a gold bug, I'm a silver bug. I really like the coins. I really like the physical wealth, analog wealth in my hand, but I also know that there's times, there's booms and busts and cycles, right? There's booms and busts and cycles. Like I think that gold in 2011 was a lot of FOMO in the market. I mean, which ran it up to about 1,800, and then it sold off to what 1,200 or something like that. So during that time, it was a lot of FOMO in the market, and so like I think that it got overpriced, and so many people didn't see, where the value of where it should have been, and so many people bought in when it was that hot. It had to wait out, either sell at significant losses or had to wait it out. So even metals, even though I'm bullish on metals long term, something I'm gonna pass down to my kids and everything. I still think that there's every cycle has booms and busts. Same thing with energy and commodities, like that I'm investing in. Like there's booms, it's highly cyclical. Um, and so yeah, those stock markets are highly cyclical. So once they run, I'm gonna sell and move my capital to another sector that's undervalued and that I think will be poised to run at some point. So it's all about market psychology, knowing cycles, um, and just being in position to be able to make money. Like I mean, because when I was sitting on, like, I had a significant amount of metals that were a significant amount of my net worth. And even Rick Rule came on. He's like, "Yeah, you got too much, man. Like, you should be investing in your business, and so you can earn some more capital and stuff." And so, like, now I'm like more sound minded when it comes to money, and I look at all sides of it. So, yeah, you got to use the paper markets to increase the wealth. Bryce said, "Right now, my gold is real estate. Got my rental coming online soon." Man, when did you get a rental, man? Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you about this, man, because yeah, I didn't even know you had a rental. I don't know if this is attached to the house you bought or if you got something else cooking, man. You always got something cooking, man. And you got twins on the way too, man. It's fatherhood at its finest, right? Uh, so, yep. So here, the second part of the thread, range formed between 40 and 45K. Price should take the previous high. 45K strong resistance zone. Heat maps, options, gamma wall, FTF resistance. I don't know everything with trading like this. 40K is key support. Clean break below this level, we should see a strong drop to the 30-31 level. So Bitcoin has been trading in this range. Like, it has not popped above 45,000. And so, it could drop. It could trade in this range for, another however long, another month or so, and then you could see a drop, so be sure to be, cautious and have some capital on the sidelines to be able to deploy. Let's see. Then he says, on next Friday, December 29th, we have an important options expiration event. The notional value is very high, 7.7 billion, and the gamma walls are exactly the current ITF support and resistance, 40K and 45K. The max pain price matches with the major support zone of 30. This guy knows his stuff, but people definitely, you have other traders, technical analysts that disagree with him. But he said a major options expiration event. So this means like all the options, I think it's called like quad witch or something like that. But so you have all these calls and you have all these puts, right? And pretty much a lot of these are going to be expiring on next Friday. And so that's what he's saying. And we know that at the end of the year, people sell off to avoid tax. It's like called tax loss selling. And so we could see a downturn in the next week. So I would be cautious this week coming up, because leading up to New Year's, I mean, you may have some big money coming in any position that they've taken losses on. They may sell to offset any type of gains or taxes or whatnot. The bearish trend during 2022 was impulsive move that broke the 2020-2021 market trend. Now the move from the 16K low looks like a corrective move, wave B/X. This move tends to be followed by another impulsive move wave. So he's saying that it overcorrected, then it corrected back, then now it's going to correct again. So if we see Bitcoin at 11,000, y'all, have some money on the sidelines, right? because I will be throwing money in. Reasons to think that the 2023 bullish trend is a wave and not the start of a bull market. Prices inflated artificially. 2022 bear market wave is clearly impulsive. Almost every altcoin and index is forming the same pattern. So pretty much, I mean, he has, I mean, this goes on and on. So yeah. Sentiment's very bullish. Funding's at its all-time high levels. F&G index is very high. As you can see, the overconfidence in the comments. So yeah, be cautious. Be cautious. That's what I'll say. Be cautious. We could see a correction. So take profits if you have some profits. Obviously, if you got it at a certain point, there's no guarantee that it's going to go back to that price that you got it at. But I wouldn't be throwing, just massive amounts in at this point because I would just rather dollar cost average, with however much that is based on your income, and have some capital put to the side if you see some unbelievable prices come about at the beginning of the year, first quarter. See, Bryce said it's attached to the house will be finally a fully paid off rental. Once that one comes online, I'll probably use a HELOC to build another ADU on the property. Man, bro, inspirational, man, inspirational. For instance, during the vid, I bought AVAX at $3.43 a share and sold at about $285, 4,700% return. What's not to love? Man, you bought AVAX at $3.43. I remember seeing that stock too. I remember seeing it. And it was highly elevated. It wasn't at $3.43 a share. But yeah, that was like very insightful of you to see, like, okay, we're going through this situation. Obviously, they're going to try to, provide some type of medical remedy for this. So let me look at these stocks. So that's insane. That's insane. That's cool that you were able to see it. And then you put it all in the metals. And so you preserve some purchasing power there, man. That's amazing. Bryce said, got to get the cash flow up for the twins when my wife stops working. Yes, sir. You got to have that cash flow coming in. I only made at 18K. Didn't have enough. It blew up almost overnight. Made about 18K. Okay. Should have bought more. Yeah, that's the rough part. It's like, man, like I always think about I should have bought more of this or I should have held and things like that. But you kind of just got to move on to the next trade and just keep building from there. He said, so you bought 800 shares of Plug Power at $1.50 a share, dumped it all. 6 months later, it went to 150. Yeah, man, my cousin was really into Plug Power. We were in it at $3 a share. He had quite a few shares, but we were also playing some options and stuff. But yeah, like, man, you got to hold it. You got to hold it. I cost myself a lot on that one, idiot. But you're learning. So now it's time for, like, apply these principles that you learned and make it even better. So, all right, y'all. I gotta go wrap these gifts up. My daughters, they getting under the tree and trying to open stuff up and stuff. So I gotta get going and wrap these up a day before Christmas. I hope that you all have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate, the Christmas holiday, the birth of Christ. And just appreciate you all for chiming in. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and then Constitutional, I'm gonna send you an email. And you all take care. All right, peace.